Hello, and welcome again. I'm your host, Namita Ramani. Welcome to Successful Marketing for Small Businesses podcast. I'm also the founder of About Digital. And today we have a very freaking healthy guest, entrepreneur and founder of Freakin Healthy, Roy Koyess. Roy has studied from Concordia University in Montreal, Canada, and as per my research, joined Johnson & Johnson Medical Devices in 2003, where he almost worked for 15 years, split between vision care and diabetes solution. When he joined Diabetes Solution, about 2 years after working at the diabetes section of the company, he decided to quit his comfortable corporate job of 15 years to open his own venture, Freakin Healthy, with a strong push from his wife, Rosalia. Let's hear this story from Roy on how he decided to become an entrepreneur. And now it's been almost 3 years he's an entrepreneur. And how has the journey been so far? Welcome.
Thank you. Nice introduction. Thanks for that.
Short introduction because I wanted to hear a lot from you about your journey. So
Sure.
I didn't really speak everything, whatever I found on internet about you.
Not much online.
I was struggling.
Yes.
Usually preparing for a podcast takes me some time as
Yeah.
I'm researching on the guests, but I digged. And I found a few things about you which I shared.
Yeah.
You came to Dubai in 2002 and
2002.
joined
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson 2000.
So straight from Montreal. Maybe it's good to give you a bit of a background. So
Yeah.
I'm Lebanese by origin, born in Saudi, and the family moved around quite a lot. So we lived in the Philippines for a couple of years, lived in Holland for a couple of years, then Lebanon a few years, then back to Saudi, and then finally ended up in Montreal in 1987.
Why were you guys moving everywhere? What does your
Yeah,
father do?
so my dad was in the travel business, so hence the
lovely.
traveling. He was in corporate. Then he opened up his own business in I think 1988 in Montreal, and we lived there for I think 18 years. 15 years, 16 years we lived in Montreal. I moved to Dubai in 2002, end of 2002, and a month later I joined corporate, Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get in there? What is your education background,
So,
if I may ask?
good question. I did have 2 degrees. One is hotel restaurant management, and the other one's business degree. So, in John Molson School of Business, which is the business arm of Concordia University. So, how to get in? I think I came in 2002. Dubai was very different back then.
Yeah.
I had a couple of options, a couple of corporates, and I think the company I chose fit what I wanted from growth perspective. It was a young division, very close knit, and I saw the opportunity. Hence, there was a lot of opportunities for promotions and growth and cross-functional learning, and that was what's attractive about the company. Yeah,
15 years, long time.
it is. It's to be honest, it passes so quickly.
Yeah,
It does.
especially in Dubai. Time
Dubai.
just flies here.
It's never downtime, constantly on the move, and very diverse market. So it's a new experience, different functions, new experience in different functions. So, you never get bored. You mentioned comfort. It is comfort, but it's still, corporate is hectic.
Yeah.
Corporate's hectic.
A lot of targets to meet and
Oh, yeah. Numbers. It's all about the numbers.
it's all about the numbers. I think that's where the vision for Freakin Healthy came from, the diabetes section that you were working for.
That was
isn't it?
part of it, yes, correct. So the region here is 25% diabetics with probably another 25% undiagnosed, so huge diabetes
Wow.
issues. Probably 30% obesity rates, mostly because of sedentary lifestyles, poor diet, but it all comes down to education, awareness and education. Freakin Healthy was born partly because of that, and partly because intrinsically I really wanted to also do something that I feel passionate about. I think it comes down to passion for me, and it comes down to my self journey. So I went through quite a nice development journey myself.
Do you have a chef? Have you got a food related background at all?
Yeah, slightly I do because of my education, but
I will quickly ask again.
Yeah.
The first degree you mentioned was?
hotel and restaurant management.
Yes, hotel and restaurant management.
Yes.
But you didn't use that at all. You just
Not much. I actually did internships, and they wanted to hire me actually in Dubai. I just didn't like the industry. I think it looks nice and shiny from the outside, but when you get in, it wasn't for me.
So in the hotel management degree, you actually go through various programs.
All.
You housekeeping,
All.
you do chef. You
Yes.
went through all the training.
All, yes.
Which was your favorite part? Cooking?
No, that was nice. I love the kitchen. I love the environment of the kitchen. I think you have a nice. It's tough. I think the kitchen is the toughest place in the hotel. But it's a nice group. Once you gel with the team, it's quite nice and it's very creative. But I also enjoyed the customer facing piece. I think because of my background cross-cultural, I love meeting people. I like connecting with people. That's something I really like. And I tried to bring that into the brand. And I'll talk about that later.
Yeah. When did the idea actually start coming in you that this is what I want to do? Should I ever leave corporate?
Yeah, so I think...
because there's tons of opportunity to get into once you have that kind of
100%.
experience.
So it was a decision of, do I continue in corporate elsewhere? Do I continue with the same company? Or do I really do what I've been wanting to do for a while? So I've always had this entrepreneurial bug, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I've always tried projects while in corporate, and I wasn't running them myself, but it was always side projects that I had partners run. And it's something that really excites me, something that I love to do, build something from scratch. I think from corporate perspective, you have the full support system. You have a brand created. You just have to excel in sales and drive new markets. But starting something from scratch, you feel really fulfilled. And it's something that I wanted to do for a few years now. And I think the time came in 2017 when it was time to make a decision. And I've been planning this, by the way, for 2 years before the jump. And I think this is important for young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs to kind of realize. A lot of times you hear people say, just jump into it, take the first step and jump to it, but you need to plan it. Yeah. At the end of the day, I planned it for 2 years and made sure I had some safety nets financially, because also you have families, you have responsibilities. And then you make that switch over. Yeah, you can't just, drop everything and start a business from scratch if you have kind of the responsibilities around you.
Absolutely.
So 2015, I think I made up my mind that I wanted to leave corporate. 2017 was the trigger date. I think March 2017, that was my last day. Freakin Healthy was born.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was born much before in your heart and in your
100%.
Kitchen, I'm sure. Did you create your own products? Did you kind of come up with them, or you outsourced everything?
Good question. So the way I like to work with the brand is, and I try to bring some of my cultural experiences into the brand.
You have vast cultural.
I do, and I enjoy that, so I brought in, we made this program, we created this Chef Made program, where we collaborate with the young chefs that probably don't have that platform to create really amazing, delicious, clean recipes. And that also brings in their different experiences from outside, from different countries, different backgrounds. They work with different chefs, different restaurants, etc. We bring them in, we collaborate with them on recipes, and we shortlist recipes. The ones that really make our shortlist, we launch. You can find more on our website. We call it Chef Made, but that's the way I like to work. Now, we've made stuff in-house as well. Yeah. We create a lot in-house, but I think I get the more joy when I see that community being built.
Yeah.
That's what we're about, build that community. Yeah.
So all the young chefs who are exploring and looking out for, they can apply.
Definitely, yeah, why not? For sure. We have some news coming in the next month or so.
Interesting. So we have a lot of new amazing Freakin Healthy products coming in.
You will, definitely.
I have tried your macadamia nuts and I've tried your peanut butter bites.
How do you like those?
Yeah, I like those ones.
Thank you.
I also tried your bars, the one with the coconut in the middle.
Yes.
The dark chocolate bars.
Yes.
But my favorite one is the peanut butter one so far.
I like the coconut. Delicious. Yeah.
Yes. So how was it setting up the company in this market in UAE? Would you go through a lot of challenges? Registration?
And not so much, to be honest. I think it's okay, let me rephrase that. I think I underestimated some of the challenges. And again, it depends what you plan out to achieve. For me, it was, I wanted to do everything myself, set up a facility, warehouse operations, and then you sit down and realize, that's a waste of time and most likely a waste of your resources. You're not the expert in those areas, and find someone that you can outsource these actions to. So at the end, I outsourced things that I wasn't passionate about and I wasn't an expert on.
Like what was
production. Like actually
the chefs and the
chefs, like recipe creation I love, but I wanted someone that really brings also their passion and insights into the recipe creation.
Yeah.
And for me, it makes sense that there are different views and characters behind each product, not just Roy's.
Yeah.
That creates it uplifts the brand and the recipes. And you'll see. From one to the next, it's a very different approach. The other one is scaling the business, maybe mass production. So I partnered with a great company here, and they're now my business partners, and we create...
It's baklava made better, right?
BNB Group,
Yeah, BNB Group, yeah.
Bilal and Mohammed, awesome guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to come to it much later, but so you partnered with them and they did the rest of the...
Yeah, so we're we're both in Freakin Healthy.
But that was when they partnered with you after
2018.
So after a year.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while to get the first recipes ready. Yeah, so some of the products took us like 79 recipes to get them right. So it's not just drag and drop and that's a recipe. With 79 iterations of one recipe to get it right. So it took a while to make sure we test it. Claims are clean, ingredients are right, and we're fully transparent. And 2018 we partnered, and
that's how you launched. So you launched from the beginning. You had a partner.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What about all the other aspects of packaging and everything? That was all taken care by the BNB Group.
And so we do everything in-house. Yeah. So I sit with the designers. We have a great design team. Everything's done in-house from scratch. So it's like really Dubai made, like from scratch, from chefs to like the packaging design, everything is here. The only thing that's probably outsourced from outside is our ingredients, obviously, right? So we source ingredients from outside.
Yeah. Then what about the carbon footprint that it comes with?
I mean, look, as that's something that there's always on our table. That's one of the big discussions: sustainability, carbon footprint, recyclable material. I think the region's getting closer, to making it a reality. Also, from cost-wise, I think it's pretty expensive right now.
Yes.
And our objective is really to approach this category and make it available to more people. We don't want to be premium, but we want to also be high value and bring people into the healthy category. That's our aim.
So can I ask, what kind of investment does this kind of a business need from the start? Like until you had the BNB Group?
Yeah.
What projection had you done in your mind? What you will invest?
Yeah, so there's a lot. So for me, I think let me take a step back. I think you need to look at what's your burn rate personally. So like what financial cushion do you need per month, and how long do you need that for without generating income? You're not going to generate income in year one, probably not in year two, and if you're lucky, in year three. And again, depends on your model. So I think number one is, what's my burn rate, and how do I make sure I get that? Did I save it before, or do I have any other means of revenue? You might have a spouse or a partner that's supporting, or you might have some sort of like I don't know. Savings or stocks to sell. So that's the first one. Then it's like, what does the business need in year one, year two, and year three? I think you need a 3-year plan. Now, obviously, the plan's not gonna stick to it 100%, but at least you have an idea from everything from registration of the company to ingredient sourcing to packaging. Now, the biggest expense in I think year two would be also a listing. You're going to list them in the modern trade. That's a lot of money. So you have to budget for that. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, what's the marketing budget? So how are you going to create awareness? A lot of people think the journey is over once it's on shelf.
Yeah.
That's when the journey starts.
Yeah.
That's when the journey starts. Shelf offtake, awareness, sampling. There's a lot that goes in it. Yeah.
So you guys have multiple product lines, multiple verticals in your...
We do.
Yeah.
We do. I think it was essential when we first started. We started with the Superfood Bars. Okay. Now, if you think about it, that's pretty niched. We had goji berry, the matcha, the raw cacao, and those are not too many people knew those ingredients 3 years ago. And that was on purpose. So we really wanted to approach it and target the really healthy consumer that's really educated and knows what they're eating. After a while, once we established that foothold in the healthy sector, we wanted to expand our range. So we're a bit more indulgent, if you call it that now, but still very clean and very healthy. So we've introduced a number of products. I think we're up to more than 30 SKUs now. And I think it's just the beginning for us. We really want to be everywhere for everybody, and at a really strong price point. And we want to make sure that we also break through. I think the population here, I would say like 40-50% are really intending to get healthy, but they don't have the means.
Yeah.
And when I say healthy, I'm not only talking about nutrition. It's like lifestyle.
Yeah.
Mental health, spiritual, if you call it that, or energy, and also nutrition and lifestyle. So I think that 45% is our target audience. How do you bring them into that sector?
But don't you think it's having so many product lines? So you said about 50, 45. It's a lot
30 plus
to
SKUs, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of SKUs, a lot of products to look after, and a lot of different markets, because I'm sure there's a range which is for a particular type of a market.
True.
Which means you have to spend that much time, energy, and money to get these people, attract these people to consume your product.
True. Look, again, I think if we were in different regions, one line might suffice, but I think being in the Middle East with very diverse palettes, and there's a lot of different kind of education levels, it's good to cater to more people. We're managing it pretty well, and we pick our investments. We study the market. We do a lot of sampling, market research before we launch something. It's important that we get those insights before we can say, okay, let's spend the money and put it in market, and it's not going to work.
That's how I tried your product, by the way, as a sample.
Where did you try it?
I was in JLT doing some yoga,
okay,
cult fitness, I think.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
they were sampling. There was this moon yoga,
Yeah.
and we had all these. I'm like, what is this bar? And we
Nice.
had juices and everything. It was delicious. I'm like, we need to try this
Nice.
again.
You
Although
know?
I'm a big fan and loyal of Protein Bake Shop. I love
Yeah.
their peanut balls
Yeah.
as well, peanut
they're
butter
good.
balls.
Yeah,
And
they're good.
so that was one of my questions in the
Yeah,
conversation was
sure.
going to be that there is already some competition around you who has a certain percentage of market share, I would say.
Sure.
And they have kind of a liking or following. Like I love, and if I go to Zoom in the office at 4:00 around that time, I'll go down to pick up chocolate.
You're 4
And I
o'clock
have
craving.
Munchbox, I have
Yeah.
Protein Bake Shop, and I have Freakin Healthy.
Right.
What do I pick? Sometimes I would want to try different things, but a lot of
Yeah.
time my hand goes on the peanut butter or the dark
Yeah.
chocolate because
Yeah.
I'm so accustomed to that
Yes.
taste. And they have actually they spread very fast. They are
Yes.
everywhere. So are you guys everywhere.
True.
So how does competition affect the growth?
It's a good question. I think competition is important. It's very important for a number of
Absolutely.
reasons. So one of the reasons the competition is important is if you don't have the competition, then you're not innovating. You become very complacent, and you think you have the market. And who suffers at the end? The consumer suffers,
Yeah.
right? The consumer is stuck with one option, and there's nothing innovative coming out. So I think competition is very important. And with competition, you're forced to innovate and come up with something different. Now, on the flip side, it's also important not to be obsessed with competition, because I think some brands are super obsessed with competitors. And I think that's a mistake. We need to be aware of where competition is, but let's not obsess. And again, if you obsess, what happens? It's a very vicious loop.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing what the next guy is doing.
Yeah.
And again, there's no innovation and nothing new. So we're aware. We think competition is healthy. I think we want more because we need that category to grow. We're a very small segment, the healthy snacking category, very small as comparison to confectionery.
Yeah.
So, only with more options and competition is that category going to grow. And we need that. So
Yeah.
no qualms about competition for sure.
There's always room for more, I guess.
I think so. I think so, yeah. I think, for us, the objective is really more people into the healthy category, healthier lifestyle, healthier living and well-being. So I think this is what we want to do.
Was it very difficult to enter the market, like getting into Zoom? I think so far I've seen you in Spinneys, I've seen Zoom, I think in Carrefour.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to enter that?
I mean, it's again, where do you want to enter and what's your strategy? So I think...
what was your strategy?
So for us, we really want to build a strong foundation, and for me, what's really important is building something sustainable. And it's not just about, the buck, if that's a phrase. It's not about just the money. For us, it's really changing people's eating and snacking habits. And it's important.
It's a tough task.
It is a tough task. It is a tough task. And hence the range, right? So hence the range. If someone doesn't come in on that range, they might try that range. So we want people to start that journey. So what's really important is building that community health-wise. So I want to invest behind those touch points, like the sampling activities and bring people into the brand. And it's really important for me to also have discussions with consumers. So I do a lot myself. Yeah. So I love to do markets. I'm not just an entrepreneur behind a laptop and just looking at my financial spreadsheets every day. That doesn't happen. Because you have to be passionate about it. You really have to be passionate about what you do. So when we decide on which strategy or which touch points to go, we want to make sure that we also grow it and it's a strong foundation. So, easy come, easy go. If I'm spreading myself too thin, before you know it, it's going to dissipate. So.
But how challenging was it to enter these? Because I've heard, do you have to register your products, by the way? Just like how any beauty product, you have to register with
DM municipality, for sure.
So you have to register the food products as well. Everything is registered with the municipality.
And for sure. I mean, you register everything, so they check the ingredients and everything.
Yeah, they go through the process.
Yeah, you have to.
Because I've heard it's very challenging to enter Carrefour, to enter Spinneys, to enter these big supermarkets for any product.
I think it's getting more challenging. I think maybe many years ago, it was a bit easier. Yeah, because there was a lack of international brands and lack of local brands. It's more challenging, and hence you also need something unique. You need something unique. But also these major retailers are looking for, how are you going to support the brand? Okay, you're on shelf. What are you going to do? Like, how are you going to support it? You're going to invest behind it. How is this brand going to move from my shelf? You'd think the same thing.
So what do they expect you to do?
A number of things. So create awareness, drive traffic.
Okay.
Drive traffic to their locations, make sure people know the brand is there. Create sampling activities. People try it. Bring in some influencers and promoters to the location. So it's all about offtake. At the end, I said it before. The journey doesn't end with your product on shelf.
It starts
there.
Yeah.
It starts there. So that's our strategy. Make sure that whatever customer we're aligned with, we just drive business from there. So
what is one of the most important marketing that has worked for you? Like you're trying sampling, you're trying all these. What is the best thing that has so far worked for Freakin Healthy?
So for me,
marketing activity.
In the initial stages, it was really consumer-facing activities. Yeah.
So being in right market or farmers market.
I think consumer facing, and
you started there, right?
I did, yeah. So we started there. We're still there. Okay. We're still there, and we love it. We're part of that community. We want to get feedback from consumers. The ripe market and the other markets, I've gotten feedback from consumers that have changed formulation to the recipe to that extent.
Okay.
That's a privilege. I think when you look at it that way, you realize how a lot of entrepreneurs, once they launch a product, that's it. They disconnect from the market. I think that's a mistake. You have to be connected, always connected. And that's what we do. If not in this market, we're in that market. We're always connecting, getting feedback, changing and educating. So why are we different? How do we produce the product? Where do we source ingredients from? What are we all about? Those are the nice stories that people link to.
Yeah.
Those are the things consumers remember.
Yeah.
And
how far have you stretched across Middle East? So your products are available other parts of the...
They are. So we're UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain.
Already expanded in these countries.
Yes, we are. Yeah. And again, it's our decision to also build it sustainably. So we're building it one market at a time.
That's how it should be, one market at a time.
Yes.
One of the biggest challenges because I work a lot, it's so interesting and weird, I would say, that we have a lot of guests in our podcast who are restaurant owners and who are basically part of FMCG. Yeah. So we have Go Organic, we have Protein Bake Shops. So I have all these different entrepreneurs coming in talking about their challenges in running their shows or in their companies. And one of the biggest challenges I've seen across in conversations with them, even outside the podcast, is logistics. Is that somehow I'm sure it must be one of your challenges as well, the logistics of making sure the product is available everywhere on time.
Yeah.
How do you handle that, and what do you do to overcome that?
So there are many ways. I think logistics it's key. It's part of the
big picture.
It's part of the big picture. But again, there are a lot of players now in the market that can support in logistics. For us, we do most of the stuff in UAE internally. Okay. So we have B&B has their own team. And then we also appointed a distributor. So we appointed a distributor for different channels. And there's also 3PLs, so third-party logistics providers that you can also connect to, and they do the warehousing and delivery of your product. Depends the nature of your product. If it needs refrigeration, if it doesn't, if it's dry goods, whatever it is, you'll find support. You will find support. I think it's just a matter of making sure that it fits your strategy. Is that where your customer base is, and what kind of logistics provider or logistics solution you need to get it there? So for us, it's modern trade at the moment, and I would call it, let's say, HoReCa channels, so restaurants and Yeah.
I'm curious now that I'm thinking, when you launched this concept,
Yeah.
you didn't, because you have done the hotel management and restaurant
Yes.
degree certificate, your bachelor's was
Yeah.
in that. Maybe that gave you a lot of background to open something like this. So how to cost a product, how to think of all these different things. I'm sure BNB also once after a year that they joined in, or they partnered with you guys. Until
sure.
then, when you're by yourself, what was the biggest challenges you were facing when you were it was Roy running the company?
No, I think everything was the biggest challenge. Everything. I mean, think about it. So you move from corporate where you have a full support team, everything.
You call this one and he's a
100%.
procurement and you have people are on the button for you.
100%,
So.
and so you have your finance, your logistics, your supply chain, you have your accounting team, you have your procurement, everyone's ready. Yeah. So when you first start, you have no clue where to begin, no clue. And it's a lot of calculations, a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of confusion, but at the end of the day, you also verify them. And it's important to build that nice network, that nice community, someone who's been through it before, and they can guide you. So I was lucky to also have a few people that can also guide me.
How did you find them? They're friends, or you? How did you meet
so
these people?
It's funny, but I think when you're looking for something, you just gravitate towards like-minded people. So and you meet them at different events, entrepreneur events, talks, fireside chats, and you connect with people, and it's funny. People are willing to help.
Yeah.
You think that it's a big secret? No, people are open. So you learn from them and you build. But then I think once we took off is when we partnered with B&B, Bilal and Mohammed, and that was a different ballgame for us.
Yeah. They're going to be on the podcast soon, by the way.
Are they both?
I think so.
Nice.
So I was still talking to them. So
Nice.
I've not yet met them. Usually I do a pre-podcast interview, and I've not done that with you.
Same.
I know because we had the call.
You will love them,
And we connected last year. So, but I thought, let's
start with
try
Roy.
different.
Yeah.
But I prefer having a pre-podcast interview. It really helps me understand.
No, for sure, yeah. It sets the foundation a little bit.
Yes, it sets the foundation. So Bilal and Muhammad, they come with their own set of knowledge and reach.
Yep.
What is Roy's main role now in Freakin Healthy then?
So I think for me, it's really I'm really passionate about the brand. This is something that's really close, and it's I think probably closer to their hearts now. They love the brand, but I think it's for me. I need to make sure that our visions is actually implemented.
What is the vision? I would love to hear that as well. That is actually one of my questions.
I'll tell you. Again, back to what I'm doing. So it's really to bring that vision to market. We really want to be the leading health snack provider in the region, and again, there's a fine line between a snack and a really healthy snack. What we really want to do is make sure we source the cleanest ingredients, and we're fully transparent about what we deliver to the customer. And a lot of brands are not, by the way. And I think with more consumer education, people are able to read between the lines what's being claimed and what's not. But again, it's really to create that community around healthy well-being and living and snacking. That's my ultimate goal.
Do you think it's becoming a new fad, this expensive healthy snacking? Like it's all about everybody's talking about keto diets or paleo or healthy eating.
I think diets is one thing, but I think clean eating is something different. I think diets could be fads at some point, and I think no diet is long term. I think it's just if you eat clean and eat whole, I think that's the best way to move forward. That's more about well-being. Again, we've been eating a lot of junk. I think preservatives, a lot of allergies now, intolerances. So I think people are trying to clean their system. Hence, you have intermittent fasting, you have keto, you have this, you have that, you have vegan. But I think it's really eat whole, eat clean, and I think that's the best way to approach your diet plan.
So one of the vision is to the vision that you shared. Can you elaborate? Like, do you have like a 5-year-old plan, like a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan for the brand? Yeah.
So again, what we want to do is bring in consumers who are intending to be healthy into the healthy segment. So whether it's nutrition.
How would you bring them in? How would you make me become healthier if I love fries?
I love fries too. But I think it's about balance. You can have your fries once in a while. By the way, fried food is the worst for you.
I know.
So you can have your fried food or your indulgent food, but I think if most of the week you're eating healthier and you're exercising, you're allowed to have that
Couple
one
of
day.
cheats, yeah.
They call it cheat day, but you have to balance. You have to balance it. So how do I get you into healthy snacking? I think that I do it in a few ways. One is, first, you need to, when you taste something, you need to really love it. If I tell you try this brand, it's super healthy, and you don't like it, it's going to be a chore for you to have another bite or to buy another bar or snack item. But if it's actually tasty and it's clean and it's healthier, it's going to become part of your lifestyle. Yeah. So I think taste is very important. So product is important for us. So we spend a lot of time on R&D, a lot of time on testing, a lot of time on ingredients. We test so many ingredients to come up with the final product. Because if you don't like it, you're not going to be a repeat customer. So that's one key variable. Yeah. And obviously the other one is talking about other aspects of health, not just food. Like I said, it's also exercise. It's also I would say mindfulness. Like it could be in the form of meditation or whatever it is. I think those are holistic, and that's what healthy well-being and living is.
So how are you as a brand sharing all this? Like, do you have a YouTube channel? Or are you planning to launch one with all this
good
related
question.
information?
Good question. So I think by the time this video airs, I think you'll be able to see. Yeah. We're launching a couple of new initiatives around exactly what I spoke about, but just getting the community involved in this, lifestyle.
Yeah. I read somewhere in the when I was researching on Roy, I found out that Roy didn't take salary for 2 years from the company.
Wow.
Is that true? And how sustainable is that?
I mean, you're right. It's true. It's not. And again, it comes back to the pre-plan. So that's something that I expected, and I planned for that financially. It's tough. It's very tough. But it's something that I felt very strongly about. I wanted to make sure that we create, again, the brand, and we invest behind the brand. And in the meantime, I have my little safety net on the side. So that was by design. Yeah, but it's not easy.
It's not easy. That's why, because usually when you read business books, one of the things that make you understand is when you start as a solopreneur, as one person as well, you give yourself salary first. It goes in your profit and loss statement. And that's how you know how much you need to be able to make to pay yourself. You need to pay to the rest of the people. Yeah. So it was interesting when I heard that.
It's about, I think for me, it's the mindset is...
no matter what, this has to kick off.
It has to kick off. And, to be honest, the first few months, I do deliveries myself. Samples myself. I drive to customers and I, in my car, deliver the product, everything. And I think it's important that you do that. You got to be connected. It's your business. You can't just outsource everything and sit back. So the first year, I think I did almost everything. It was very tough. Again, coming from, senior manager in corporate, with everything at your beck and call to going to a place where nobody knows you and you're actually delivering packages. But that's, for me, I think it builds the brand in a different way. It builds that character on the brand. So it was important.
And so humbling as well, no?
Very.
You kind of generate new respect for all the small businesses.
No, for sure. And I think, your ego does take a hit, but I think it's important. Big ego kind of blindsides you to too many things. So, yeah.
On this podcast, we love stories, Roy.
Sure.
So, because I believe people connect with stories and they stay with you in your mind, and you can reflect back and you get the message more clearly. So one of the questions I would have now is that when you were doing deliveries, had it ever happened that the customer was not happy and they told you on the face, sorry, I don't like this? Has it happened?
For sure. I mean, so you want a story?
I would like some nice, interesting stories, struggle story. We love stories.
So Dubai gets quite hot. It's like 40 plus degrees.
Yes.
I had this delivery once to one of our customers, and for some reason on one of the hottest days in the summer, my air conditioning decided to
not work,
break down. And funny enough, I was on the highway, so there was nowhere to stop. I don't like to pull over and stop on the highway, but it just takes like 2 minutes before you're drenched.
Yeah.
And the product's already
hot and
and if you have raw chocolate, it's melting. Obviously, I still made that customer call, and I showed them the product and said, obviously, this is it's not gonna work. I'm gonna bring out another package for you. But I think for them, they appreciated the fact that I actually came in all wet with the product, and we sent another. This is again when I was on my own. But now with the partnership, it's a different story. But those things are humbling. A lot of times also customers might not have time for you. They don't want to see you. They don't know who you are. But I think that ego has to be, again, put in the back and realize where they're coming from. They probably see 1,000 customers or 1,000 suppliers. You're new to the market, so what are you offering? I think it's just being resilient. A lot of times I would just sit in the lobby and wait for people to see me. Literally burn the hours waiting for someone to see you. But those eventually become the most fruitful relationships because they appreciate that from a founder.
That's the life of entrepreneur. I'm sure many people can relate to that who are
100%,
listening.
yeah.
How did you approach BNB to invest in your product? How did that happen?
So I think it was, so the investment takes different forms. One is financial, one is know-how, one is sweat, etc. So I think for us with B&B, I think we found a lot of synergies, where they wanted to head and where I wanted to head. So the synergies worked well. And I really got along with both Mohammed and Bilal, extremely well. And we aligned on a lot of things at the beginning. And it was a matter of, I think 1 or 2 meetings that we decided, this needs further collaboration and a stronger partnership. And that's when we decided to go ahead and partnering up. Now, there's a lot of conflict in any relationship. I think it's very important because I think without conflict, again, it's not a real genuine relationship. So at the beginning, there was a lot of different visions and different ways of working. But at the end, after a while, I think we found our sweet spot and the collaboration has been great since then.
So usually one of the ways businesses would do is either they will get an investor and run the show, or they will sell the company. I guess in this case, you still want to be the head and the charioteer of the brand, and you want to lead it.
No, for sure. I think it's important. And I think
it's
also
your baby.
But I mean, now it's all our baby. But I think they're also very strong about that. They feel very strongly that I also still lead it because I think it's it's innate. It's really for sure. And I think that's the I wouldn't call it a compromise. That's where we really gel. We know who's doing what, whose role, who does what roles. I think that's important. But trust me, when you meet them, you'll see how passionate they are about it as well.
Looking forward to. They were very excited actually.
Yes.
What is the shelf life of Freakin Healthy?
Different products. So some are 12 months, some are 9.
Long time.
Yeah, and again, we do test everything for shelf life. So we even send a lot of our first products to the US to get the first testing done in the US, just to make sure that it's done properly. But now we do everything in-house. So 12 months to 9 months to 12 months, depends.
So do you have wastage in your industry? Do you have a lot of
wastage in production?
Expired food? Expired products?
Again, not much. And that's why we're building it sustainably. So we're not throwing the product everywhere.
Not overproducing it. You're producing as per the
100%. And that's again back to strategy. What are we doing? Are we flooding the market and get expiries in 7 months, or are we building it sustainably? And I think people are very anxious. They want to just do it now, and I get that. That it's important, but also you have to look at long term. And we're here for the long term. We're not a what do you call it? A flash in the pan brand. Yeah. So it's important to look at long-term goals for sure. Yeah.
One of the things I noticed with Freakin Healthy product pricing is most competitive compared to all your other counterparts and your competition, for example. There's a big difference in the pricing, almost half, I think, or maybe
30,
maybe
40%.
I think it's about 30-40%. So was it, I would love to hear your your story behind how you price your product and why did you decide to keep it such a big difference compared to your competition. You could have easily managed to be close to, because you're using very expensive ingredients, quality ingredients, chia seeds and goji berries. They're not cheap.
For sure.
I'm sure there's a cost, and you have all these other costs of logistics 100%. And so much. So
good question. So I think I need to tell you how we built Freakin Healthy. So there are 4 major pillars that we wanted to kind of destroy we wanted to break down. One is that health foods are tasteless and they taste like cardboard. That was very important for us. And again, I mentioned that earlier. You really have to like the taste. You have to love the taste. So one important thing is taste, and hence the chef made program. Yeah, so we get really quality production and recipes from our chefs and ingredients. So we don't source cheap ingredients, like you said. We bring in a lot of stuff from the US, from South America. We bring that all in. Secondly, we wanted to dispel this myth around healthy food is like an elitist category. It's only for those who know, for those who are into yoga, for those who are into superfoods, for those who can afford it. So we wanted to break that, and hence the name. So we also wanted to break that barrier of fluffy health foods. We wanted to break and resonate with people. Number three, we also want to make it available in many places. I think 3-4 years ago, it was very tough to get a healthy snack. And that's one of the reasons that was born out of that frustration for me. I couldn't eat healthy, I couldn't snack healthy. And number four, which is your point, price value. Yeah. Very important. And again, we wanted people to enter that category. If I put the price at a premium, how's that going to work? Who's gonna buy my product? Again, that small 5% segment. We want to target more people in that 40% segment that can get into the brand and slowly can graduate into a more premium item. So that's it. And how do we do that? Sourcing, yeah. Massive procurement processes, sourcing, packaging. So we kind of leverage a B&B as well and make sure that we drive that unit cost down. That's very important for us.
Yeah, otherwise, how would you make it profitable? One of the other ways you can make a cheaper product profitable by selling in mass, by heavy marketing and making people consume it more.
For sure, or undercutting and really putting cheap ingredients in there, or fillers, which we don't. So for us, no shortcuts. Premium but affordable. So that's our ethos for sure.
It's by the day it's happening that any chocolate bar versus a healthy chocolate bar are kind of matching the price. Very soon we are going to reach there, I think.
I hope so. That's the objective. So we really want to get there. We want people to have that option, and we don't want price to be a determining factor. We don't want people to say, oh, this is 10 dirhams and that's 4. I'll go for the 4. We want to be at parity and make them make a decision based on health and taste. And that's our objective.
Yeah. Are you part of any networks? We would love to know what kind of networking organizations you joined that helped you get where you are.
So for my networking, I think not officially part of any network. Like I said, I do a lot of talks. I connect with like-minded entrepreneurs, but not officially part of any network per se. Yeah. Right now I'm still. I think I'm more of a freelancing entrepreneur, so I like to connect with everybody, but not tied down to any 1 or 2 networks yet. Just be out in the market, connect with people. And
where should I go?
It's very simple. There are a lot of
events?
A lot of events here, entrepreneurial events. There's a lot of talks, group talks, shared.
Do you host some events?
As Freakin Healthy? Or
as an entrepreneur or a Freakin Healthy? What
events are you hosting? No, not personally, but I've been part of many talks. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to connect, because entrepreneurs go to those events to learn and to connect with people. And that's how I started. I went to events. Mm-hmm. I learned from people. People connected me, and that's how you make your roots network. It's important.
Yeah, but you did need your wife's hard push to leave the corporate job and start the company.
I mean, it was. I think it was. It was important that that I included the family in a big decision like that. Like
Absolutely.
it's a massive change. It's a massive change, and I think
and it can impact everyone in the family.
For sure, and extended. It's not only you.
True.
So it was important to get also the support, because I think we underestimate how tough the journey is at the beginning. You hear it's going to be tough, and you're like, yeah, I can handle it. But you have no clue, until you really get in, how tough it is. And for us as a unit, we wanted to make sure that we got support. We support each other. By the way, my wife's also an entrepreneur, so she gets it.
What does she do?
She has her real estate company. She does investments in Portugal and Spain.
Okay.
For residency visas.
Right.
Yeah. So she's also, she gets it. She has that mindset as well. Yeah.
Do you read books?
I do.
What's one of your favorite book that you would like to gift?
That's a good question. What's my last book? Getting to Yes. Very good book. I read Tim Ferriss's books. Yeah. I think one of the first books I read before I jumped was the 4-Hour Workweek.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It's interesting how the previous guest did the same thing.
Really?
She read the 4-Hour Workweek and she decided to quit.
Yeah. It's amazing. So I think you need that initial push. Everyone's thinking about it. Everyone is thinking like, I want to do my own thing, but that first step is the toughest. It's just, you need that first step. And after that, I think it's it. There's no way back,
But entrepreneurship is not 4-hour work week.
It isn't
it's a
at all.
24-hour work week.
Even more. I think the book is not about the shorter work week. I think it's about efficiencies, and how to kind of find ways to leverage what you have and networks and connections. That gives you like nice little, I would say, hacks to kind of, take shortcuts. But it's not, for sure you work longer.
And I think even Tim Ferriss works a lot. And long hours because I follow him. I'm a big fan of his and I love his podcast. And he sends this weekly mailer in which whatever he's reading. And my God, the man has all the time and doing these podcasts. Wow.
For sure. Top 5.
It's not 4-hour work week for him as well. I'm sure.
No, I mean, and if people who follow him and listen to him, they know how I think his work ethic is second to none. I think people just see just see it from a very helicopter view, but they don't know what's going behind it. I mean, take you. You do preparation for this. It's not like you come on and you free will questions, you prepare, you research, you take notes.
It takes me weeks to prepare for the shoot.
100%, and you have a full production, so it takes work. It's not like switch on the camera and let's shoot. So I think people don't realize that until you get in it. A lot of people see let's say a snack on the shelf. It's like, oh, I can do that. But there's so much work behind it. And you need to put that effort. Otherwise it's, the quality it's gonna show. Either quality in your production is gonna show if you don't take that work. So
life is hard work. Everything is work. Nothing comes easy. So much as much as I know.
So look,
and it should be that way, don't you think?
It should be, but I think I don't know. Like if I was to ask you, are you working currently? I don't know if you'd answer me.
I'm enjoying.
Do you see? I think that's the difference, right? I think you look happy. Yeah. So, this is your element. Yeah. So for you, I don't think you see it as work. I think you see it as like, this is your passion.
Joy.
And you're having, and same for me. If you're not passionate about it, it's work. But if you find what you're really passionate and good at, you find a need in the market and you can monetize it, you're in a sweet spot. And I think...
I know. And one of the things that you rightly said is that you have to be passionate, you need to love what you're doing, but you also need to let go things that you don't like doing.
For sure.
Exactly what you did, exactly like how our other guests do is they let go of the tasks that they are not very good at to write people who are very good at it, like how you did with BMB.
No, for sure.
Joining PMB and having this partnership to take over a lot of your headaches, which otherwise would have taken out of the kitchen and versus doing everything else except building the products.
100%. I mean, also something you're not good at, something you're not passionate about, and something that someone else is, I think, better at and have more experience and expertise at. So why hold it? Outsource it, give it out, or if not, build a team around you that can.
If you can afford it.
Yeah, if you can afford it, build a team. I think it's important. Yeah.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I do. I'm gonna add you to my podcast list now.
Better add it.
Right now.
Yes.
We'll add it. So I have a few. So I have a Tim Ferriss show. I have Bulletproof Radio.
Dave Asprey.
Dave Asprey. Yeah. I have Zach Bush. I'm into like sports. So there's Sports Wars. I don't know if you know that.
No.
There's a very cool one for all you entrepreneurs, Business Wars. Super. So it's like a podcast about like big brands and how they fight it out. It's usually 6-7 episodes. Very interesting.
Business Wars.
Plant Proof podcast, like more like a vegan, plant-based podcast. So I listen to an array of things. Why Women Win, I think that's one of them. So I don't segment. I like to listen to a lot and just learn tidbits. So when I like something on a podcast, I dive in, I do my research. Then I connect to a book that they wrote or an article, and it goes deeper down the rabbit hole. So, and there's maybe an hour podcast, you have like 10 minutes. It's like, wow, that's a gem. It's like a book, you know, you might read it, and there's like one paragraph that really resonates, and I think it's worth it. So
exactly what when I'm driving, if I'm cooking, I'm doing anything, I have the podcast going on. And
what do you listen to?
Tim Ferriss is one of my favorites as well. I listen to Louise House, Jay Shetty. I have I listen to a lot of real estate podcasts.
Really? Real estate?
Yeah. The Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki has a podcast. I'm a big fan of his. Kind of follow whatever he says. And so far he's pretty good and right. How to invest, where to invest, like everything. I kind of, and I'm a big follower of his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I teach the game, cash flow game.
Oh, wow.
Getting out of the rat race, I make my whole team play the game, and my friends and my family, like everybody play the game to understand how to become rich. So,
what's that book? Napoleon Hill. Think
and Grow Rich.
Yeah. I think that's a key in any library.
The Power of Subconscious Mind. Thinking, these are some
100%.
books that you.
100%.
It's all mind.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Even who you are, the way you take care of yourself is mind. It's all the mind game.
It is. And I think that's one of the personal journeys I went through when I left corporate. So I spent a couple of months really building myself. So I never meditated before I started meditation. I think it was important to ground and really drive focus. And it's now a daily ritual. And if I don't, I feel off. Changed my diet a lot. I cut out a lot of things.
So you're plant-based now?
Not fully, no. So I'm more whole foods. I went plant-based for a while. I've tried many things, but then I think you find your
balance.
Yeah, your sweet zone. And then for me, it's like a bit of diversity, but also like clean eating. And also exercise. But I think, like you said, mind comes first. Mind comes first. So you have to be, there's a lot of stresses. If you don't clear the mind and calm the mind, you can't achieve at a high level. It's very important. Yeah.
What meditation do you do? Do you have a
TM?
Okay,
I do TM. Yeah.
Transcendental meditation. There's Deepak Chopra one, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm into Vipassana meditation.
Okay, I haven't tried that yet. I think that's the next level.
I don't know. It's very tough. I find it really extremely tough. I do a lot of serving, but even then, as a server, you have to do you sit for meditations. But as a student, you go silent for 10 days.
That's the thing. So I found TM fits the entrepreneurial lifestyle.
Yeah.
You get 20 minutes, and you have to find 20. So wake up early, do 20. If you have another 20 during the day, do it. But I think it fits that lifestyle. I wouldn't afford more time. So with
family, and I think you're father of 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 kids. Yeah. 2 lovely kids. So you got to find that 20 minutes. I think if you don't take care of yourself, it's impossible to take care of your business and your family. So
you come first. You
100%.
have to be selfish in life.
You do. Yeah, you do. So that's it. So that journey also led to the creation of Freakin Healthy. It was just that holistic lifestyle. It was important to, to preach what you do, I guess, right? So I wanted to really take a journey mentally, physically, and also nutrition, exercise, and kind of apply it. And we're still on that journey.
And then fantastically doing well. You were doing intermittent fasting when we met.
We did, yeah.
Is that something that you follow?
I do. Daily practice. And again,
it's a 14 hour. No,
I do
16.
I do 16. Okay. I try to do it daily. Sometimes I have to break it, but and I feel pretty good. I feel more focused, and I think the one very practical byproduct is that I don't dictate my day around like lunchtime or breakfast. So my hunger doesn't drive my agenda anymore. So it's like I'm open to do anything at any time, because I can sustain it for 16 hours.
Yeah.
And it works.
That's such a freedom.
It is, no?
I want to try that.
Try it. Yes. Read about it, research it, and then try it a little bit. But I think the first step is, again, take a look at your pantry, clean out all that junk, and then start whole foods. You'll see how your brain just opens up.
Yeah.
It's like so much junk that goes into your body. But just start with that, and then move to the intermittent fasting. And I'm not a physician, so consult one before you do.
Thank you for the disclaimer.
Yes.
Do you have mentors?
I do. I think, and this might sound very cliche and cheesy, but I think for me, I don't have one go-to mentor, but I tend to pick up things from everybody. And I'm very in tune with people. So like everyone teaches me something from all aspects. And I try to also stay close to people that I think are excelling in certain areas that I would like to also excel in one day. So it's the people I hang around with are also like high performers in certain areas. So I wouldn't say I have one specific mentor. I have many, but I think also for me, books are great teachers.
Yeah.
If you think about it, authors spend thousands of hours, thousands writing books based on years of experience, and you get to read it in a span of a week or a month. That's incredible.
It's
so
magical.
underestimate,
I give a lot of credit to where we are and what we do is because of the books. And of course, as you rightly said, having the right company. I think it matters a lot.
For sure.
They say if you want to be fit, be with people who are into sports or into fitness. If you want to be rich, be with the rich.
No, for sure.
So
it's true.
Choose your surroundings very carefully.
100%. Yeah, and you'll see. You create that community of what is it? Your closest friends, your 5 friends are.
Yeah, your net worth is your 5 people you hang out with. Yeah.
And that's important. Sometimes it's tough. You might want to divorce a friend, honestly.
And it's okay.
It's okay. Different paths, different missions in life, and it's fine. Divorce those people, but also drive yourself and get closer to people you want to be more like and emulate. It's important.
A lot of time, I think also when you meditate and when you're very conscious and aware, you generally gravitate towards people who are like you.
Yes.
Like attracts like. So
yeah. It's true. You give up a lot of things I used to do in the past. Like, really, I used to do, these things and, worry about that. And now it's like foundation settled, you're calm, and you're right. You gravitate towards those people. You see them, you feel them. It's a nice journey. But not everyone's on that path.
Sometimes some people take longer. It's
For
okay
sure.
as well.
100%. 100%.
I'm sure your job is, this last few questions, you have a tough, being an entrepreneur is it's hard work, and running a brand like Freakin Healthy, being in many countries, product development, so much, you have so much on your plate. How do you strike a life-work balance? Like you have a wife, you have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Has it happened that one has to be sacrificed for the
Yeah,
other?
I mean, I don't think I don't really believe in balance. So I think long term there needs to be balance, but in short term you got to give 100% to something, and you're gonna have to sacrifice something else. It's just how it works. I mean, you have finite time during the day.
Yeah.
And if you want to be high performing at anything, your relationship, your work, yourself, something else has to be sacrificed. So I really think that, you do focus on something 100% at a time, but then you have to come back and make sure you pay attention to the other things that dropped. So it's more of a juggling act, less short-term balance, more long-term. So you focus on your business for, let's say, a few months, you really drive it hard, but then you have to cut out family time, and it's going to be 100% family time. You focus on that. You're not looking at your phone and answering emails and disconnected, 100% that. You want to do your holidays with your family, you focus on that. But it has to be like, it's extreme here, extreme there. Just drive it 100%.
Is it possible to achieve that being an entrepreneur?
It is possible. If you surround yourself with the right partners and the right support system, it is possible. If you tell me today, could I do it alone now? No. But that's why we have partners. That's why I decided to go, because I also wanted certain areas of my life not to sacrifice. I wasn't willing to burn certain aspects of my life. So for me, it was important to bring in partners that could also take different responsibilities, so we can all have a more robust lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So it's a decision, yeah.
What advice would you like to give to other entrepreneurs or small business owners which you wish you had received 3 years back when you started?
That's a good question.
Maybe one of the biggest struggle or obstacle that you wish you knew, somebody told you.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to. So I'm a very, I don't know if perfectionist. I think I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be done perfectly, and I think, and I'm learning it as we go. As an entrepreneur, you can't be perfect. I think you need to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And I think that's one of the pieces of advice I wish I had gotten, because I delayed a lot of things just to make sure they were absolutely perfect, 100% perfect before I would even consider it, whether it's a launch or a supplier or a marketing program, anything. But I think now it's like just roll with it and fix it when it's sailed. Like fix the direction or fix the ship when you're sailing. I think that's one big piece. The other one is also like product testing. I wish I'd done it sooner. I had like a couple of years of R&D and I guess research, but I think it would have been good to actually test the product sooner, just to bring it to market quicker. Yeah, but you learn.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos, the Amazon team,
Sure.
launches their new schemes or whatever they're doing with 50% of data. They're
Yeah.
50% perfect before they launch the next thing, whatever they're
For
working
sure.
on.
That's how it has to be.
Yeah, I was listening on Jay Shetty's podcast. I think he was with Brendan Burchard, and he was also, Jay Shetty says, "Oh, I make my episode 70% perfect." And I was just thinking about us, Louise, that our
70%,
episodes are
yes.
approximately 50,
Yeah.
60 to 70% perfect. You can't be
No,
perfect.
you can't. You never,
100%.
because you're always, especially if you have a perfectionist mentality, you're always gonna think, oh, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. You're gonna
There's
keep
never
adding.
100%
No.
because there's always room for improvement, I guess.
I agree, and it's more authentic if it's 70%, right?
Absolutely. Any closing thought? Any message from the founder of Freakin Healthy? Where can people find you?
So you can find us online, freakinhealthy.com or Instagram, freakinhealthyme. Soon we'll be also on, we have our YouTube channel, also Freakin Healthy. We're going to launch some new initiatives, but I think my message is like, take the first step, in anything, whether it's your health journey or your new business, just that first step. I think it's the scariest, but after that first step, you'll see, you'll get support. People will gravitate towards you. Just have a positive outcome as well. Positive mentality.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It was lovely having you. It was
Same
a
here.
great conversation.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
For your time.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Roy. If you have any questions, feel free to use the comment box below and ask on any platform you're listening to. I would love to hear your comments, your feedback. You can DM me at Namita Ramani on Instagram if you would like me to invite a particular guest or a business owner on the podcast. Again, do leave us some review if you can. If you enjoyed the conversation, I would love to have a review from you on any channel again. I'm sorry I'm asking so much, but we need some feedback to know that we are doing right, we're on the right path. Thank you again for listening or watching, and see you in the next episode.